So while we're on the subject here, and I know we're going to talk about the new addition to the Pro Football Hall of Fame class, right, with some of the names and everything there, is there anybody in this class to you that is a upper room guy?
Joe Thomas would be the closest.
I would go with Darrelle Revis, too.
Yes, both of them.
Right.
I mean, Joe Thomas played all those years, all those snaps.
Yep.
Revis, too. Revis and Joe Thomas. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Thomas, I agree with you.
Let me just say this, and I'm not going to name names.
Right.
Is that the full graphic? Is that all 10?
I think that's all of them,
10's
right.
too many. 10's too many.
It's a
And
lot.
that's what Dion was saying in this chair yesterday. There's a quota. There's a minimum number.
Yep.
They want to have guys maximize so you get the most people possible in Canton to go to the parade and go to the game. I get it. It's a business. But there isn't an element of exclusivity.
Yes.
There are too many getting in. They did that thing a couple of years ago where they put in 20 because it was a centennial class.
Right.
And no. And if you're going to do that, fine. But have that upper room to truly honor the greats of the greats.
Yeah.
Because it does get diluted.
Really, it does get diluted.
And there's
I
no
think
way.
we
There's
can
no
do
way.
this.
And we were joking about it yesterday with Dion, and I felt bad about it because I don't want to take shots at Phil. I love Phil.
Yeah.
Phil should, and I'm not going to name anyone specific
I got you.
on that list.
Right.
But there are names on there when you look at it and say, if that guy's in, why the hell isn't Phil in?
Sure, I got you. Yeah, and Phil doesn't deserve to be in the upper room. We're okay with that. Big Phil's
Just
happy
let
with
me
his
in.
career.
Let me in general admission.
Well, sure.
I don't need a suite.
Definitely. But yeah, I think this is something that Dion is, fan the flames a little bit. I do think this is going to become a real conversation with the Hall of Fame a little bit. I'm excited just off this, Mike, just a little ex-teammate of mine, Rondé Barber.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to see him get the recognition. He was certainly one of the best defensive players I ever played with, physically, mentally, whatever it is. And this is where I want people to understand this about Rondé Barber. The modern day NFL and the way defenses are playing now, Rondé Barber's kind of the jump off there. A nickel safety, weight he can tackle, he can cover. We don't play base defense. So that's where not only was Rondé Barber an awesome football player, he kind of invented a new position in football that's a real thing, and I think people need to recognize that. Darrelle Revis is the second best man-to-man cover corner I ever saw in my life other than Deion Sanders, right? Every bit in the class with the Champ Baileys and the Darrell Greens and all of that, really special. And I was also happy to see Zach Thomas, who I always thought was a Hall of Famer, Mike. I didn't know if he'd get in. I never thought he was a first ballot. But, Mike, he was one of those guys I got to play a few times in my life. And like Ray Lewis, not only was he awesome, but he would call plays out, right? And then you'd be like, oh, my gosh, I mean, poor running back. He knows the play. And I'm about to say set hut, and Zach Thomas is going to be there waiting for him. And I got tremendous respect for him, so I was really happy to see him get in.
Yeah, he had tried, and he had tried, and he tried, and he got in. And some guys have to wait. And you know what? I know that the guys who have been frustrated by the wait, all except for Terrell Owens. And he shouldn't have had to wait.
No,
he had
he
every
should have
right
been
to be
first
upset.
ballot. Right.
Most guys who have to wait, when they finally get in, it's like all is well, all is forgiven, all is fine.
Right.
But I thought Terrell Owens got caught up in the politics of it. Look, we're members of the media, and people would assume that we'll just say, well, the media should vote on this. I don't know that the media should have exclusive rights to it. I know some of the players have been involved recently, but I definitely agree with Dion's take that to determine the upper room, it should be players and players only. He said, the media, you've done your job on letting them in.
Right.
We'll be the ones who decides who gets to the upper room.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I got no problem with that, As long as we pick I just want to make sure there's guys even in that upper room that are picking guys. Those guys are really paying attention to the sport and know, too.
And that they know who the best are. They talk to each other. They're impressed by certain things.
We
they have
know
a high
they're all
standard.
in on football.
And that's what we were saying yesterday. They don't want their achievements, their names, their legacies to be undermined by letting someone in who shouldn't be in.
Yeah, no, agreed.
In this weekend's games, who are the people that you think would eventually be upper room?
Ooh.
We know of one.
Well, yeah.
Well, of two.
We know Mahomes.
Maybe two.
Mahomes and Kelsey
Yes.
right off the bat, right? And I think those are two you look at right away. Lane Johnson might be on that career path here.
He's got a chance.
Right? He might be.
Chris Jones has a chance.
Chris Jones is another one that certainly has a chance. I think those are the four guys right off the top of my head where I just go, yeah, wow. Like Fletcher Cox to me is a Hall of Fame defensive tackle. I don't know if it's upper room, but he's definitely a Hall of Fame defensive tackle for me.
I'm fascinated by what
Yeah.
Devontae Smith could do if he was fully utilized. I just feel like he gets caught up in a numbers game, and they have A.J. Brown.
Yeah, they can
'cause he
run the
makes some
ball. They do
spectacular
everything. Yeah,
plays.
right.
I don't know that he'd have the durability
Yeah.
because we interviewed him last year when he was available to be here.
Right.
He wasn't a
Yeah,
big
he's
guy.
skinny. Right. Yeah.
So, but I think we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Mahomes, Kelsey, Reed. I mean, are we letting coaches in the upper room?
You're right. Andy Reid, especially if he wins this one, he's in the upper room. I mean, he's probably in the upper room already.
Who are the coaches that would be in the upper room? George Halas, Don Shula, Bill Belichick. Who
Yeah.
else? Tom Landry?
Definitely Tom Landry.
Chuck Noll?
Chuck Noll for sure. Right. Bill Walsh.
I want to say Bud Grant, but I think he's standing at the doorway.
I would argue Parcells and even a Mike Shanahan. That's what I would argue.
Shanahan's not even in yet.
I know, but Shanahan with the 2 Super Bowls and all the 94 offensive coordinator for the 49ers, right? He'd throw in there. Yeah, Parcells, I would definitely throw in there. Madden.
John Madden.
Right.
That's an overall upper room.
Right.
Not for coaching.
Well, that
not
should
for
be the
any one thing,
section
it's
for the coach.
Everything.
Yeah, right.
He should be the guy who sits on top of Mount Olympus.
Right.
He's Zeus.
It should be the
Hall
Madden
of Fame.
coaching upper room. That's what it should almost be.
Yeah, Vince
something
Lombardi,
like that.
too. We didn't mention him.
Yeah, right. I'm sure there's a few more.
And, you know, we got a guest coming up who,
he's trying to get there.
depending upon what he does in Denver,
right.
He wants to get another ring. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.